Good afternoon. The Art Gallery at Eastern Connecticut State University is back on the air, and today we are thrilled to welcome a true champion of the arts and community engagement, Sara Tyler-Connolly, the director of Hygienic Art in New London. Under her leadership, Hygienic Art has continued to thrive as a vibrant nonprofit art organization known for its inclusive exhibitions, dynamic performances, and its iconic Salon des Dependants, and now censorship, no jury art show that celebrates creative freedom in its purest form. Welcome, Sara.
Thank you for having me.
Can you tell us a bit about your background and what led you to become director of Hygienic Art?
Sure. So I actually have a background in early childhood education with a minor in art. And for years I was in education. And then I actually had a couple of daycare centers. I ended up selling them and I had a family of three. And then I needed an outlet. So I started volunteering at Hygienic Art at about, I want to say 2005. And I would gallery sit, volunteer for events. I would take place in the annual Salon de Independance. That's an open community art show. Um, and little by little, I got more and more involved, and they asked me to join the board. So I was secretary of the board of directors for about 5 years. And then during the pandemic, it was just a really, really difficult time. And they asked me to take on the role of director to get us through, hopefully, and not have to shut our doors, to get us through that horrible time. So I've been there ever since. I've been director since January 2021. And we program throughout the year. We have galleries inside. We have 4 galleries, and then we also have an outdoor performing art space. So it's a little bit about the hygienic and how I got there.
Wonderful. You really worked your way through and probably know the whole behind the scene situation of working with non-for-profit.
Yes, it's not for the faint of heart. So I've been on both ends, the fundraising aspect and the programming side of the organization. And it's a small nonprofit, but we do serve quite a few people in the community.
For those unfamiliar, how would you describe the mission and spirit of Hygienic Art?
Okay, so the mission is to offer a free artistic platform, a forum that's open to the public, and also to encourage community tourism, and also educational activities through the arts. That's basically our mission.
The Salon de Independance is
Yes.
such a unique event, and I'm very sorry for butchering its title.
Wait, all
Can
right.
you share its history and what makes it so special?
Absolutely. So, Hygienic used to be an all-night diner before it became Hygienic Arts. And it was a diner for approximately 60 years. And a woman named Allison Holtz, she was an artist in New London, um, actually kind of came up with this idea with an artist named Barclay Hendricks, um, uh, who's since deceased, but he was a professor at Conn College, an amazing artist and photographer. He's actually just had a couple of exhibits at Lyman Allen and at the Frick in New York City. Anyway, they came up with this idea of let's do a community art show. Let's get everybody involved. Let's make it so that it's like a non-gallery art show, where everybody's involved and there's no censorship and no judge, no jury. And they based it on the Salon des Independence in Paris, I believe, where it was, some of the art that couldn't be shown in galleries, that maybe was a little bit too racy or political or what have you. So that's where it began, and it was 46 years ago that the first show happened. And so it happened, the first show happened at Hygienic, and it was there for a couple of years, but it traveled all over New London. It was at Captain's Pizza. It was at Bank Street Cafe. It was at LNG when it was there. And then late 90s, when the Hygienic was just shuttered, it had been kind of abandoned. They were going to tear it down. This group of hygienic artists that had done this show throughout the years saved it, saved the building from demolition, and turned it into an art gallery with actually 6 resident artist spaces upstairs. So we house 6 artists. Uh, they they pay about half of market value so that they're able to create. And they're also offered the opportunity of working for 8 hours in the gallery or in the art park, and then receive a $200 credit to take off of their rent. So they really got a great deal. And they just had their annual group resident show. It was absolutely outstanding. And if anybody would like to come see it, it's on display till July 5th. It's fantastic. Um, so that's a little bit about the hygienic and kind of how it evolved, and who we're serving right now.
Hygienic hosts over 300 events a year. How do you balance such a diverse and ambitious calendar?
Uh, I ask myself that weekly, Julia. I'm like, how are we doing this? This is a lot. But we have a lot of help. So I am the only full-time paid employee at the Hygienic. And then I have an art park manager who helps over the summer seasons. And I have an assistant who comes in and helps me for 15 hours a week. But like I said, I have the residents who are a wonderful pool of um, they have different abilities. Some are really good at marketing, some are good at graphic design, some just want to, prep the gallery. So I have a small but able army behind me. But yes, it is. I feel like I'm constantly like, what do you call it? Gerbil on a wheel. I'm just constantly going, constantly going. Yeah,
How do you select your residents?
that's a great question. So when we have an opening, we put out a call. We have people fill out for sort of an extensive application. And then we have a committee. We have a resident selection committee. And we interview each resident, ask them the same questions. We look at all their art, and then we decide as per committee. And that's how we actually program our galleries, and most of the art park as well. It runs through everybody. So, we have um, more than one person's choice. We have different diverse choices and a very diverse community, and we try to serve everybody in our community.
How long do your residents usually stay with you?
1 to 3 years is about the average. We like it. We like 3 years because then you really kind of they really get grounded as artists if they stay for more than a year. 3 years is optimal, and then we'd like you to kind of launch on and let somebody else, have a chance. Um, yeah, I find like the artists really kind of step into their groove at about the second year, and then the third year is usually magic. They've got confidence, they've got a body of work, they've met connections. We've partnered some of our artists with more established artists with some excellent internships. There's just some really great opportunities if you're involved with hygienic art.
Are you able to bring artists from other states of America, or it's usually people more local?
So we it's usually people more local, um, especially for the residency. But we have one of our residents just graduated from art school in New York. So we do, it's not just Connecticut, it could be New York, Rhode Island. And people who exhibit with us are from all over the world. We've had a gentleman from India ship his art to us and come out for an art show. We just had another gentleman photographer who went to Mitchell College and who lives in St. Croix, born and raised in St. Croix, and he had an art show with us. And most of his Mitchell family came to see. It was really kind of a special night. But yeah.
What role does Hygienic play in supporting local artists and the broader New London community?
Okay. So as I stated, the residents especially, they get a really nice like package of being able to have art shows and the networking and the reduced rent. Um, but we also offer a couple of juried shows throughout the year that other artists can take advantage of. We just partnered with New London Rotary to do a show called Opus for Peace. And that was to bring the community together through the arts. We did poetry for peace. We did, everybody, the artists did their own, what peace means to them, and, had an opening, and it was quite lovely. So we do partnerships with other organizations. During the summer, we host the Drop-in Learning Center children summer camp in our art park so that they have a place to shelter for lunch and do art projects, have just run around and play. And our art park is covered. We have a large steel and glass ceiling, so if it's raining they're still covered, but they're outside, so it's nice. um I think what else? We do community yoga every Sunday. If that's sponsored by L&M Hospital, it's to keep us all well, mind, body, and health. And that's also offered to our residents. We've also been able to enrich the Drop-in Learning Center kids with other sponsorships or grants from other organizations to enrich the kids that are in the art park. Because those kids may or may not have any other place to go in the summer. Summer camps are really expensive and really out of reach for a lot of families. So let me think. Oh, this Saturday, actually, we partnered with Connecticut Sun. We're doing our Juneteenth celebration. The NAACP will be there. The mayor will be there. There's going to be a band and everything for the kids, face painting, all that kind of stuff. There'll be some local musicians that will, be up on the stage. So that'll be a nice partnership. We're there for it. Give us a call if it's a good idea and we can do it. We try to accommodate.
Wonderful. What are some of the biggest challenges you face as a non-for-profit?
Well, I mean, financials always is always a thing. As a nonprofit, you do depend on sponsorship or grants, really, and sponsorships. We, as a organization, have about 60 to 70% earned income, which is actually excellent, and it's attractive to grantors because they know that we're stable. We've got a good solid foundation. We've been here for 25 years. Our gallery has been open. Um, as a nonprofit in a distressed community. So that's saying something. Yeah, so I would say really financial. If we had more money, we could, have more support, and perhaps maybe serve more folks. But we do what we can with what we have, and I believe we do quite a bit, but we could always do more.
What's next for hygienic art? Any exciting projects or goals on the horizon?
Oh, I'm glad you asked, Julia. We have this great Gatsby Gala that we are planning. It's a giant fundraiser. We have a lofty goal of trying to raise $100,000. Um, we figured out, through sponsorships, auctions, art sales, ticket sales, we might reach it if we're really, really lucky and we work really, really hard. But it's going to be a really fun event. They're going to, like I said, there's going to be live auction. We're really trolling for high ticket items that people will want to get, like weekends in Black Island or, a foursome at Fisher's Island, and, things that are attractive and that will perhaps may raise us some money. We're also going to do a fund a need auction with paddles. We need some tile replacement on our gallery floors. I think they're like 100 years old. Some of the windows need reframing, recaulking, that kind of stuff. Funding a need. Oh, the residents, they could all use new appliances. We'd love to give them new appliances. So things like that. And then we're going to have a wine pull. We're going to try to get 100 bottles of wine because it's the 100th anniversary of Great Gatsby. We'll be running the movie on the big screen in our art park, probably without the sound, but just to kind of get that vibe. And everybody's supposed to dress in 1920s clothes. So that's the big push at the end of and that'll be our final event of the art park season. We'll close it down, but that will be in and outside of the park. So people can, get warm if it's chilly out. But we'll plan on having, we have space heaters and stuff out there, those gas heaters. I think it'll be fine.
Hmm. And
Yeah.
when is that? And when the
And
tickets will be on sale?
thank you. It's on November 1st, and it will start early evening. And tickets will go on sale. That's a great question, November 1st. I'm going to say by August 1st, maybe late July. I'll put a big blast out so people will know. But yeah, midsummer, we'll get those tickets out there.
Can you share a story or moment that really captured the impact hygienic has had on someone's life or the life of the region, New London?
Um, Geez, that's a good one, Julia. Um, okay, let's see. Um, I mean, we've had so many artists come through that have done really, really well. I don't want to just name one. Um, I would have to say though, the most recognizable would be Barclay Hendricks, who conceived of this Salon de Independence with Allison Holtz, and then the group, the Hygienic Artists that they used to call themselves, made it into reality and kept it going. I just find that to be somewhat remarkable that you could have a show, an annual show that would go on for 46 consecutive years. With a shoestring budget, right? So I think that that's probably the biggest legacy that Hygienic has left. Just that annual show, because it seems like everybody knows about the annual show. But there's so many individual stories. It would really be hard to choose. I would really have to think about that, Julia, and get back to you. You know, I know personally, I can tell you, raising a few kids, right, and not working, you don't really have a community of people that you can talk about other than other mothers and you're talking about kid stuff. But like to have a community that speaks to things that are important to you and such as art or music, a group of people, a tribe you would call them, was really important to me, and I immediately was accepted into the hygienic crew where you know it's a cast of characters. I mean, everybody is. I used to say it's an island of misfit toys. We're all a little different, but we all fit together because we all have such differences, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I guess that would be my experience with the hygienic and how I best would describe its effect on people.
What advice can you give to our students who study art or just graduated with an art degree?
Okay. So keep creating, always create, network like crazy, learn how to market yourself. Um, learn all the tools. There's so many ways to get your art out there, but you need to be super active. You need to reach out to different galleries, meet new artists, go see exhibits, get your face known. That would be my advice. And keep creating. Always keep learning. Always keep um, just keep reaching, keep creating. That's the main important thing. Don't stop. Even if you feel like you're blocked, just go down and just prep a canvas or, take a pencil and just start sketching or, you know, change your venue. If you're sitting in your studio and it's not working for you, go outside, do some plein air or something. Just keep going is my advice. Keep going. Keep going.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Sarah, and I wish you all the best and the best for hygienic arts. And when if people want to find you, where are the um, tickets? What's the website
Yeah, the
called?
website is hygienic.org. And just go
Mhm.
on there and just look under events and it'll scroll down and just pick which event you want to get for. Okay.
Okay.
All
So
right. Thank you,
thank
Julia.
you.
You
Thank
are
you.
delightful.
Mhm.